Great.
Hi, Rishik. Welcome to our Joel John J YouTube channel and happy Independence Day to you and all our viewers.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks for inviting me and happy Independence to all the people. And I really wish that, people achieve independence in their own ways, in which they want to achieve. Independence is a very subjective term, for a lot of people. And I really wish that, they do attain that independence in whatever way possible that they think of.
Okay, thanks for your wishes and we can get into the topic. And I'll just share the screen and okay. Now, and this is your LinkedIn profile, and I can see you in multiple fields like real estate, digital sales, and you have got honors awards like CEO Circle Award, Game Changer Award, and Guest of Honor and Leadership Award. And apart from that, the main agenda of this is to give more insight about sales so that our people who are upcoming for any field, even it's a startup, sales is much important. So we also come up with the discussion points, and I appreciate if you can say a few words about startup before you start up the conversation. And are you into angel investing as well, or and some tips like how to invite angel investor and venture capitalist, and then we can get into the sales job related conversation so that it will be
Yes,
more fruitful for them.
yes.
Yeah.
So, so I am into angel investing, but I really invest, at very initial stages of establishment of a company, and I usually go and invest in mostly the people than the ideas, basically. So, because I really believe that if the team is good, if the person is good, if the person has a good background, right, he can actually make great things out of even simple ideas. So that has been my way of angel investing. And talking about sales as a career, or sales job. Sales is not sales only at a job, but all the jobs involve a little bit of sales, each and every time. And even if you're into finance, even if you're into ops strategy, anywhere, right, you need to how to sell. And this is an intrinsic kind of a quality that is being developed right from the time that we were born, right, and to the time that we enter into the corporate, and right till the end of the life. So I usually call sales to be a life skill rather than to be something which is related to one profession or the other.
Okay, that's great to know. So now, regarding sales jobs, we are planning to discuss about conversion skills, planning your day, handling multiple stakeholders, planning with data. Good salesman is a good with data, perseverance and domain knowledge. So can you talk about these things?
Sure, sure. So, so I basically, was planning this conversation in a way like, I actually talk about why sales job is such a great job, to start your career with. Because I meet a lot of people, I meet a lot of students who are pursuing their degrees or post-graduation degrees, and they usually get, afraid when it comes to sales. And this is what have been my observation in Bangalore also, talking to a lot of, kids and the candidates who are there inside the college. The first thing is that which I would like to mention is that if you are confused about your career, if you don't know what do you want to do in your life, which a lot of you are, you have to admit this thing. You should start with sales. And the reason being is that sales is always the first, is always good to be the first job of your career. The first reason is that you learn how to converse with people. And conversing with people is so important that you are into any domain of your career. If you are not good at kind of articulating your thoughts, your ideas to other people, you will fail as a leader, you will fail as a manager, right? Even if you're doing some finance work or operations job. So sales as a job actually helps you understand, helps you develop those conversational skills. You start coming out of your cocoon and you start talking to, strangers. You start talking to different people, understand their mindset. That is one thing which is very important. Again, re-emphasizing on the thing that conversational skills are not about talking in English or talking in Hindi or talking in Kannada. It's more about, conversing in a way that your thought process is being understood by the other person. So, you talking to a clerk inside a company or the CEO inside a company, your conversational skills has to be different in both the cases. This is exactly what I mean when I talk about conversational skills. The next thing, which I think Joel has, noted down, is planning your day, right? Sales as a skill, actually helps you plan your day, because if you don't plan your day properly, you will never be able, to become a good sales guy, or for say any good professional, right? What will you do, this day? If you are planning it out, what are you going to learn, what are you going to do, is what, a sales job actually teaches you, because sales is more about consistency, is more about perseverance than actually hitting it, once in a while. Because you can't achieve your targets, if you just believe in hitting once in a while. You have to be consistent. The third thing which is very important is handling multiple stakeholders, because once you enter into a sales job, right, you need to understand your product well, you need to understand your services well, and for that you need to interact maybe with your tech team, with your product team, with your marketing team, with a lot of internal stakeholders. Plus, once you go outside and you pitch your product or services to other people, you should also understand that to whom are you actually pitching it to. If you're pitching it to a CHRO, do you understand, what is the main point, the main pain point that the CHRO has? If you're pitching it to the CFO, do you understand what is the main pain point which the CFO has? So you, in a way, learn how to handle internal stakeholders, understand their key metrics. That if I'm talking to a product guy, what is the key metrics that he has, with him? A tech guy, what is the key metric that he had? An HR guy. And plus, you also learn how to manage external stakeholders, and this is actually going to help you even if you switch your domain after 2 or 3 years, of your career in sales. The fourth thing is playing with data. I have seen a lot of, sales guys starting their career and thinking like, they don't have to deal a lot with data. But trust me, if a sales guy doesn't monitor his or her own productivity, plus he is not good with, making or maintaining a good pipeline, and that is all about, managing the data set that you have, you will never be, be able to become a good salesperson. So it's more about the process than, the talent set that you have. So playing with data is another thing, which is very which is one thing which actually a sales job teaches you. A good salesman is always good, or a saleswoman, right, is always good with data. So even if you, a lot of kids, a lot of candidates come to me and ask that, sir, I want to pursue a career as a data analyst, but I'm not getting a career option there. It's always good to start with sales, because once you start with sales, you start handling data. You can utilize your SQL, and Python skills over there. So you can later on, after 1 or 2 years, you can always talk to a company telling that I have utilized those skill sets while I was doing sales, and that's why I wanted to transition into, a data analyst role. Perseverance. So perseverance, is something which I feel, this generation, or maybe, we are not the old generation at all, but this generation, has to understand this thing, that career has to be seen in long term. Career is not something, where you will earn millions in 1 year. You may earn millions in 1 year, there's no doubt in that. But a true success is should be a sustainable success, and sales teaches us perseverance, because you need to have a lot of follow-ups with your clients. You need to understand their perspective, pitch them in different ways. Sometimes, they will bang the door on your face, which is what we say, even, cutting down your call in between, or maybe not picking your call. So you learn perseverance, and you know what, this actually helps you in your personal life as well. Bangalore is called the Davos capital of India, right? Because people are getting impatient, right, with their wife, with their husband. So if you are perseverant, if you learn this skill in sales, this is going to help you in your personal life as well. So this is their domain knowledge. Now, domain knowledge is something like, which a sales guy should have. You can't do a good sales unless or until you understand your product. So let's suppose you're working for an AI ML company and you are a salesperson for that company. you have to understand what is the AI, what is the ML, how my product is basically using that, how it's going to be useful. So without being a part of the product or tech team, you should have that understanding as a salesperson, so that, because people have to understand one thing, that the salesperson is the face of the company, and whatever he or she talks in front of the clients, that actually represents what company is doing in the background. So having a great domain knowledge is something which is an important trait of a salesperson, which I again like to emphasize, because a lot of people believe is that sales is all about conversation and all that. It's there, but you need to deepen your knowledge in the product as well if you want to do good sales. These are some of the pointers which actually sales job teaches you, and I have always believed that if you're out of options, if you're not getting job in your role, or if you're confused in your career, especially talking from the fresher's perspective, don't hesitate to take up a sales job, because it's gonna take you further, if you learn those traits which I just mentioned.
Yeah, thanks
Yes.
for that. And you explained about the conversation skill and planning of the day and handling with people, which are going to be helpful on all the parts, and playing with data, and which will also help you to be a good salesman if you are good in data, and switch your load to analytic of data as well, and perseverance, which is also useful for family life and the society to make a person perfect, and domain knowledge as well. And now another one thing which comes to mind of everyone when they talk about sales is a target driven job. You cannot
Yes.
just like sit in your office and complete your work, or do some of course there are also targets, but those are all fixed, and they will be doing a study, and it will be a clear guided one. But fear of target and focusing on to input and managing input and scheduling the day, planning the targets and learning new things, it's really a challenge for the sales jobs. And also that it depends on the other person, who is whether he is willing to give us the offer the product, or offer our knowledge, and give us the sales. That's when our target will be achieved. It's not an office job or a software job where if we are good at it and we finish it, it's done. So kindly explain about how to overcome this fear.
Right. So, absolutely right. Joel, when we talk to a lot of freshers, when we talk to a lot of people who are entering into the corporate job, they don't fear sales, but they fear targets. Is that if we peep deeper into their mind, if you talk to this kid, for 5-10 minutes more, you will find out that he's not fearful of sales, he's fearful of targets. To actually break it down, we are fearful of anything in this world when we talk about the outputs, right? Let's suppose you go for a bungee jumping, right? And you think that what will happen if you fall down, if the rope breaks in between, right? If you go driving your car and you keep on thinking that what will happen if a truck comes in between and my car bangs against the truck, you keep on thinking about the output, you keep on thinking about the negative results, you will always be fearful of the things. And that is exactly what is happening in sales. There are some companies which have created obnoxious sales culture. I completely agree, I will not take the names of those companies, but then there are a lot of great companies, and here I will take the names. I will talk about Google, I will talk about Microsoft's, Salesforce, Yahoo kind of companies, where the sales culture is pretty good. The reason I will tell you, because again, you should not focus on the outputs. Let's suppose you've got a target of $1 million sales. Why do you focus on $1 million? Focus on your inputs. If I have to achieve $1 million sales, how many calls do I need to make in a day? Or how many people do I need to touch base on? How many meetings do I need to do? How many proposals do I need to send? If I create a list of inputs that I have to make in a day, in order to achieve that output, the focus will be on inputs, right? Again, I will take you back to all the religious books. If you talk about Hindu culture, you talk about Bible, you talk about Gita, you talk about Quran Sharif, everything, talks of one line, that the focus has to be on karma. The focus should not be on the output. If your karma is good, the output will automatically be good, right? So instead of fearing of targets, you think of what is needed to be done today so that I achieve those targets. How many people should I call? How many people should I meet today? How many people should I talk to? Right. This is one thing. So the focus should be on inputs. And I will tell you, a good sales manager, a good sales boss. And again, I'm not talking about the obnoxious companies. I'm talking about the good sales leader in reality. They will never demean you on your outputs. I have led a lot of sales team. I will never ask them what is the target that you have achieved. I will ask them one simple question: how was your day like? How did you plan your day? How many people did you call? How many people did you meet? And I am pretty sure if the focus is on inputs, the output will automatically come, no matter, not this month, maybe the next month, right? So this is something which, candidates have to understand. Corporates have to understand that they should not fear of targets. They should think of, having the right inputs in place. The other thing, scheduling your day. So if you have to manage your inputs, you have to manage your day. Likewise, you can't reduce your weight by just thinking that, I will reduce my weight, I will reduce my weight. You have to plan your inputs, you have to plan your day. You have to think that, okay, morning 8 o'clock I will wake up, or 7 o'clock I will wake up, 7 to 8 I will go to gym, I will control my diet, I will not eat this thing. So if you're managing your inputs, outputs are bound to happen. You're going to reduce your weight. But if you just, you know carelessly just keep on thinking about the outputs. Suppose I and Joel had a fight, right? And I can think of one output that, I and Joel are going to break our relationship. Then I'm gone. Both of us are gone. The good thinking should be, I and Joel can sit together and can discuss what is the problem that he's facing out of me, and what is the problem that I am facing out of him. Let us discuss it together, and then we will come to a conclusion. Okay, so Rishikesh is not going to do that, and Joel is not going to do that. We are happy together. Focus on the inputs, not on the outputs, guys. This is one thing which is very important. Again, telling you can relate everything with your personal life, what you do in sales. Learning new things. Why do you fear of targets? Sales job actually teaches you new things every day. It's such a rejuvenating job. You think of targets. What I think is that every day I'm meeting five new people. Every day I'm making five new connections. And even if you think about job, guys, right, you're building a good pipeline for your next job switch. Think of this way, right? So a lot of things, actually changes from fear to enjoyment once we stop focusing on the output and just enjoying the process, start enjoying the process, and think of focusing on the inputs rather than the outputs.
Oh, it's so great that you guided out how to overcome the sales fear by just focusing on inputs instead of outputs. And now the second one is understanding various businesses and their unit economics, understanding their business models and their decision making process and connection and networks builds greater network and fear of not able to transition to other domains. So kindly go through these 3 points.
Sure. Thanks, Joel. So, so this third point, which is mentioned over here, understanding various businesses and their unit economics, is being, thought of in a way like once you're doing sales, right? Let's suppose you are selling a software, and you can have different kinds of clients, right? If you're selling a software, you can sell it to a client which is in the chemical industry. You can sell it to a client which is in the, let's suppose, automotive industry, and different industry altogether. Once you go and sell, I have observed a lot of sales guys having a very flat pitch about their product. We should always remember one thing: sales is more about listening and understanding the other's perspective than about speaking yourself. A good sales call is always successful when 51% of the times the client has spoken, and 49% of the time you have spoken. So, if you want to pitch it well to your clients, you should understand their business models. That is where it gets interesting. So, every day, if you're pitching to three different businesses, you have to understand three business models, right? And to understand three businesses models, you have to do a lot of your research, right? That how does a chemical industry operates, how my software is going to help them, what is their decision making process like, what is their hierarchy of the chain is like, what are the important value propositions that I can bring to their table. That will vary from industry to industry. So this is one thing which is important. Now, unit economics becomes very important because I will just take a very small example. Like, a lot of manufacturing facilities in India employ diploma holders, and the salary is pretty less. Like, they give a salary of, let's suppose, 12 to 13,000 to civil diploma holders or mechanical diploma holders. So initially I used to think is that, oh my god, why is this guy paying so less? Candidates are not attracted towards the job. Then I realized that I'm focusing on the candidate's point of view. Let us go to the manufacturing facilities and understand. Then when I went there, I understood is that the products which they are producing, the things which they are producing, their unit economics doesn't allow them to pay that much of a salary. So once you understand the other client's perspective, then you will be able to pitch them in the right way. And that is where I always tell to all the sales folks or to all the business people is that remove your own hat, right? Get into the hat of your client and start thinking from their own perspective, from their perspective. And that is where you become their good friend. You become a good consultant to them, and they start trusting you. So this is one beauty of sales, that you understand other businesses, you understand their unit economics, you understand their decision making process, and that makes you a more robust professional in the longer run. The other thing is connections and networking. I would always say that sales job is the best job if you want to expand your network, if you want to be an entrepreneur in the later part of your life. If you really enjoy building new things, because sales job will actually help you to connect to a lot of people, make a lot of friends. But then remember one thing, that you should not behave like a creepy person. Creepy person is what kind of a person is that? Who just talks about his own product. My product is this, my product is that, no. Again, going back to the third pointer, understand the other's business and think how can you help them out. Once you start talking in that way, the other person becomes your friend. If you just keep on talking about yourself, like in most of the interviews also I've seen, Joel, a lot of candidates keep on talking about their own skill sets. I'm good at SQL, I'm good at Python, I'm good at this. No, the right way is to talk of how are you going to be beneficial to the other company. Right. So this is something which is very important. If you do that, you will create a lot of good networks, a lot of goodwill. And even if you want to pursue an entrepreneurial journey, this is going to be a great job for you. Fear of not able to transition to other domains. So I don't know from where this has come, but a lot of candidates tell that if we work for 2 years in sales, na sir, we will not be able to transition to finance, will not be able to transition to data analyst. This is a complete myth which is there. I can tell you hundreds of names which is who started in sales or who started in product, later on went into finance, or later on went into strategy. Right. See, guys, this is mainly an issue of transferable skills. So let's suppose I talk about sales, and let's suppose I have done software sales. So I understand AI and ML, right? I understand consumer insights. I understand marketing insights. Can't I become a good product manager? Because what does a product manager do basically? They basically coordinate the market insights and translate it to the tech team. That's why he's called the mini CEO. So inside the interview, if you want to transition, you should talk about transferable skills, that what you have learned in sales, which is going to help in that particular domain. Not talking about finance. Salespeople who sell big machines, big SaaS products, they are very good at designing a good commercial model, right? Commercial model, which has to be customized as per the clients. And if somebody is good at commercial model, it some way or the other helps him become a good financial analyst, right? So can you talk about those transferable skills will actually help you. So you should not fear of this thing, that if you have done sales for 2 3 years, you can't transition to other domains. It's not like that. You should fear about one thing, that if you have done sales for 2 3 years, have you become a good storyteller or not? Can you talk about your transferable skills? Can you talk about those skill sets which may help you transition? Doing a course on Udemy will not help a lot. You may acquire, SQL, Python, everything, which all these training institutes will charge you 2.5 lakhs to do, right? But the main thing is that, can you convince that person that you have those skill sets which are going to help in the other domain in which you want to go? So don't fear about that. Don't listen to your uncles out there. Everybody has their own way of leading their career. And anytime, if Joel can become a YouTuber in the night, right, and if Rishikesh can come on a YouTube channel at the night, you can also transition to any domain. It's all you know the belief that you should have, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of insight into that. And also, you said that how to face the interview during a transaction, how to express them, and also to talked about storytelling, which is one of the main skill for anywhere. Because when you say a story, people remember a lot. How you are able to, whether it's a real time scenario into a story, or a story which will be related to that, which will give the valid inputs or make the listeners more interactive. So it's really a great knowledge sharing from your side. And the next one is about salaries. Kindly take us through that as well.
So Joel, when I see a lot of youngsters, coming out of the colleges, the initial expectation is that I don't know, who has given this mind to them. Maybe their colleges also that if you do a BCom degree, if you do MBA degree, your initial salary will be 1 crore rupees a year, right? And this is where they start comparing themselves to their peers. I will take a very small story over here. When I graduated, in my MBA, I attended one guest lecture from the managing director of a very big company, and he told that he was the last guy who was placed inside my college in his batch. And everybody used to tell him that, oh my god, you are not talented, that's why you are placed at last. And 11 years down the line, now he's the managing director of that big company, and people who got placed on the first day, first hour inside that college are nowhere in front of him, right? So what does this actually tell you is that stop comparing yourself with others life. No matter, somebody would have got a 20 lakh salary and you are joining at a 5 lakh salary, but in 5 years time, 6 years time, everything gonna change, right? Maybe the 25 lakh fellow remains on 30 lakhs, and from 5 lakhs you go to 1 cr, maybe in 6 years, right? So first thing, stop comparing yourself. Don't think that salary should be a measure, a metric, especially for initial 3 years of your career. What I've always believed is that for initial 3 years of your career, say yes to everything. I want to do sales, I will do sales. I want to do finance, I will do finance. I want to do product, I will do product. I will do yes to everything possible. Because once you say yes to everything for the initial 3 years, what happens is that your knowledge increases, your domain knowledge increases, you become a go-getter. You become a kind of a guy who is not dependent on going to a training institute to learn SAP for 6 months. But when his bosses tells him something, he goes on Udemy, enrolls for a course, does that course for the entire night, and next day he comes back and tells that, sir, you know what, I can execute it. So this is the learning agility thing, which actually improves if you start saying yes for the initial 3 years. Don't look at the salary for initial 3 years. Look at the company that you're working for. Look at the boss that you're working with. This is for initial 3 years, and if you do that for initial 3 years, from the fourth year, you will be in a lot of demand, right? And if you don't do that for the initial 3 years, then for the entire rest of your life, you will always be trying to become a demand, right? So don't compare yourself, guys. Everybody is unique in their own self. Unless or until you are happy with yourself, that is the most important thing in life. Second thing is that life is a staircase. No matter somebody climbed 2 stairs before you, that doesn't mean that he will always remain ahead of you. You keep on working hard, be perseverant in your life. You can overtake the other guy, maybe 1 or 2 years later or 3 years later. And third thing, for initial 3 4 years of your career, learn to say yes to everything that your boss is telling you to do. If he's telling you to travel, travel. If he's telling you to sell. Follow your boss, and work for a good boss and a good company, not for a good role. Because good company and good boss are the most important thing. And I think Joel will agree with me on that. Because even if you get a great role in a bad company, it will not work out. But if you get a bad role in a very good company with a very good boss, it will work out great for you.
Yeah, definitely, yes. And the next topic comes in line with that. A good company with the independence, and also this is going to be released on Independence Day. And sales independence. Talk about that as well.
Yes. So guys, I've always believed in one thing, that if you can sell, if you do good sales, right, you will never depend on a job throughout your life, right? So let's suppose, these days a lot of layoffs is basically happening. A lot of people are losing their jobs. Sad news all around. A lot of good news also. A lot of people are getting jobs as well. But if you know how to do sales, right? I will just take a very simple example. You can sell tea, right? You can sell bun. You can sell a bread. You can open a cafe. You can open a canteen. You can earn crores. See, Rameshwaram Cafe in Bangalore is earning like hell, right? And he's a great sales guy, right? So sales as a life skill, sales as a professional skill will always actually insulate you from whatever is happening around you, and will give you the real independence. So, Independence Day, sales job, right? Sales job done in a good way will give you independence in your life.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And also you compared it with the tea stall. And our country being a democratic and where anyone can come into politics and reach the heights. We have a great
Yes.
prime minister, and Tamil Nadu was fortunate to have a great chief minister who all had
Yes.
a tea stall at the beginning of their career. Now they are at the top levels of the country and a state. Yeah. So any work, if they can, if they do it with commitment, and if they always grow up in their life, definitely they will reach the higher path. And the final thing to end with is the career. That's something most of the youth looks for. And kindly go ahead with that.
Yes. So Joel, what I have seen is that, a lot of the times these candidates, what have been the fudge words these days? People, if you talk to these kids, they want to get into data science, they want to get into AI, they want to get into product management, they want to get into X, Y, G, etc. Kind of fudgy words. Great words. They are great careers. There's no doubt in that. But first thing you have to understand is that why are you doing it? Are you doing it for the sake that your friends are doing it? Or are you doing it for the sake that somebody on internet or some tech company was talking about this career? Right? So first of all, deep dive into this. Don't do anything just for the sake of showing off, because this will not last long. After 1 year, 2 year down the line, you will feel unhappy about your decision. So this is one thing, like, yeah, right, don't take up a role just because it is very famous. Right now product management was very famous 3 4 months back. Now the bubble has burst, right? So you know this is one thing. The second thing is that I have seen a lot of people, coming from different backgrounds, just because of the fact that they came to know from somebody that data analyst is a great role, AI is a great role. They go to a training institute, pay 2 lakh 3 lakh rupees, take a training from them, and at the end of 7 months, Joel, they find out is that still they are not able to get a job. So the best way to learn something, guys, is to join a company, no matter as an intern. Join a company, right? You give me only 10,000 salary, I'm happy with that. I will work for 6 months. You keep on working and keep on learning things, right? So if really I want to, you know so I'm doing sales, let's suppose. If I want to transition into data analyst role, let's suppose, and if I'm not getting any role in the company, I will approach somebody like Joel, who is a senior person inside the industry, let's suppose. I will ask him, sir, can you give me an option to become an intern under you? I will work for 10,000 rupees. So it's always better to keep on working and learning rather than to leave everything aside and go to a particular training institute and invest 2.5 lakh rupees just to learn things. Learning by doing is the best thing that is there. Again, so the first point was, don't take up a role, don't take up a career on which you don't have a conviction, and you are just following somebody in your vicinity, that everybody wanted to become a doctor, so I became a doctor, but I became a bad doctor. Right? So the second thing is that, please don't take breaks to train yourself in a training institute. It's better that you join a job, maybe at a lower salary, and learn as you earn or as you work over there. And the third thing is what is very important: a good boss and a good company overtakes anything. Whatever I am today, right now, all thanks to the good bosses that I have reported to. And a good boss is not a boss who doesn't scold you. Remember this thing. A good boss will scold you, a bad boss will also scold you. But a good boss will inspire you by scolding you, and a bad boss will demean you by scolding you. So if you hear to just 5 minutes of both these people, you will find that both are bad bosses. You have to hear to the entire context of the things, and then you will realize that a good boss was shouting but was inspiring, and a bad boss was demeaning you. So always try to work under a good boss and a good company. That will always help you, even if you have to sacrifice on your so-called dream role. But work for a good company and a good boss.
Okay, that's so great. And you suggested to work for a good company and a good boss, and also being a person who encouraged startup and who had done angel investing as well. And as you accidentally talked about a tea shop, it's really a hard job. You have to stand near the stove and everything. And I immediately remembered our honorable Prime Minister and our Tamil Nadu ex previous Chief Minister. Tomorrow they will be hoisting the flag, the national flag, and they are the topmost people. And another one person has been the topmost people of a state and a country. They instead of working for themselves, they created their own startup. they worked hard, and apart from that, they did additional work on politics and for the society welfare, and they reached the topmost levels, like being a head of the country, being a head of the state. So selling anything and hard work always wins. So that's something
Yeah.
I like everyone to take it as a takeaway. And Rikish, thank you very much for coming forward and giving a very special, speech. Which this video will be published on the 77th Independence Day of our beloved country with a great freedom, and also it's a great privilege for me and my YouTube channel to have you. And also we are going to give a wonderful video to the society, which we can do. We can give it as a gift for them on Independence Day, to have Independence Day on their career. If they are able to find a career on sales or any other field, and not to omit sales, because that's a part of everything. And even if they start a startup, to reach the highest levels in their life. Okay, Rikish, thank you very much for coming up.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
great
much,
day.
Joel, and happy Independence Day to all of you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Independence Day. Jai Hind. Bye.
Yeah.